Welcome to Courageous Conversation with Teresa W. Gamble, powered by Concierge Resource Professional Consultant. Courageous Conversation is a diversity, equality, exclusive initiative. It's a gracious space for a meaningful discussion about culture, life, business, work, learn, live, worship, and play.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, our viewers and our listeners. We are keeping this amazing series going for December to remember. Honey, if you ain't learned nothing, baby, you're going to learn about some credit before the end of 2021. I'm telling you, with Miss Tina Noble. She is dropping them gems. We talking about traditional practices, and we talking about some of this new stuff that's rolling out with the collection agency. They're going to be coming in your DMs and sending you friend requests. So you better not be showing that paper online and talking about you getting paid, because they're coming for you. They're coming for you. So Tina Noble has promoted and shared. She has an ebook available for credit disputes letters. It's $10. You need to contact her on her email address or on social media so you can get your copy of the 5 primary credit dispute letters that we all need so we can stay on top of our credit, and also pass this practice down to our teenagers, our college students, our children, so they can be able to manage their money. You want to make them independent when they leave home, not dependent on you and staying in your pocketbook. I know that's right, because they have expensive tastes and we still have to maintain bills. So make sure you get your ebook today on credit dispute letters from Miss Tina Noble. So this episode, boy, I'm so happy about this. I'm over here dancing. We having this kitchen conversation with Tina Noble. We're going to talk about business credit. Everybody needs to know, because of the great resignations that's going on in the country, and everybody is starting their own business. So you got to learn about this business credit. So I am no further ado. We're going to bring Miss Tina Noble back to the stage. She is going to introduce the business credit 101. Come on through, Miss Tina.
Woo, okay. So business credit, right? I grew up watching a lot of mom and pop entities, people that kind of worked a 9 to 5, but then you always had a side hustle, right? And those side hustles, it was just, you just did business person to person, one-on-one. And you just, it was something that you just did, right? Well, 2020, a lot of people wound up having to kind of pivot. And a lot of those side hustles became mainstream sources of income for people. As a result,
you better say that, Miss Tina. You better say it. It went from side stream to mainstream. You better say that.
Oh, I like that. But yes, so what a lot of people, what we didn't know growing up, people worked for themselves, right? You had a business, you were selling products, goods, services, whatever, to the general public, which was usually your circle, your circle of people that you knew. And we just did it. Fist the cup. We just did it. Well, when you want to turn it over into mainstream, you have to go about it in a different way. And you want to do it in a different way so that, again, the focus is so that it's benefiting you, right? So, sole proprietorship, the way that you structure your business makes the most difference in the world. And again, I'm telling you stuff that I know from experience, my own experience, right? So just to do it and to say, oh, I got a business, you mostly likely are doing it as a sole proprietor. Sole proprietor means that you are the sole owner of that business. But what it also means is, because you are the sole owner of that business as a sole proprietor, you are liable for each and every debt that business incurs.
Mm.
So yeah, I'm not a tax professional. I am not an accounting professional. I just know the basics, and that's all I want to tell you today. So again, sole proprietor, you are liable for everything, all of the debts. Now, 2020, you saw they was doing, what was those checks, those PPP loans and things like that. And you all of a sudden saw everybody going out there getting them an LLC, right? A
Right.
LLC. Well, a LLC is a limited liability corporation. So what it means is it's kind of like the in between being a sole proprietor or a true corporation. As an LLC, you are only liable personally for what you've put into the business. So if you're a partner, sometimes you can be the only person in the LLC, or you may have partnerships, other people that are part of it with you, right? And there are still structures within that, putting that LLC together, that you should do. Again, talk to your tax professional or your accountant, your business attorney for that, and they can help set all of these up for you. But with a LLC, you're limited. So the liability that you incur with the business is only liable to the point in the degree of what money you've put into it. You're not personally liable for it. So it's looked at like a pass through, meaning that it's only going to so even though with the LLC you're reporting it with your personal tax returns, but you're reporting the business portion of it. So that's why they call it like a pass through. It's like your personal credit can affect the business credit of it, but in terms of your money part of it, you're only liable for what you've put into it. So no personal liability beyond that. So if something happened with the company, they can't come and go after your personal assets or anything like that, right? So they're going to go through the company assets. But so yeah, so that's what that pass through part means, that you're going to be reporting it as a business, but it's being reported on your own personal tax returns. So that's when you get into the different schedules that your tax preparer is going to be using. You get into a P&L statement, your profit and loss statement, and other parts to it. Now, when you have your tax preparer prepare your taxes at the end, when it's time, you pay a little bit more than you do when they're preparing your personal taxes, because there's more schedules and more forms that they have to put together in order to report all of the things through the business that you're reporting. So just know that. And then the last one is a corporation. In the corporation, you got S corps, you got regular C corps, and then there's different variations of that. The corporation, no personal liability impacts you. It's everything. If something happened, they deal with the corporation as a whole, and the corporation is responsible for anything that, lawsuits or any discrepancies or anything derogatory. It all falls on that corporation itself. And with that, it's a bit more to put in place. But of all of them, that's the more sound one, because when you are filing your taxes, or your tax preparer is filing them for you, there are a lot of different advantages that corporations have that a sole proprietor and even an LLC doesn't get. A lot of tax benefits, a lot of other things that can be written off through the corporation that you can't do through the sole proprietor or the LLC. So you, again, sit down and discuss what's best for you in your situation at that time. Sometimes it's best to go ahead and pay the money to have it, incorporated up front so that one, you can take advantage of all the other tax advantages that comes with it. And then two, you know, it, it just benefits you. Just it's I was about to go into a whole nother thing.
No, you ain't got to go there. I'm finna jump in and
Yeah,
help you out.
yeah.
So let me help Tina out a little bit, because with my background in administrative management, I have worked with a lot of mom and pops who had the side hustle and they wanted to make the side hustle the main hustle. You have to incorporate your business with your state you live in. There's no ands, if, buts about it. Why? Because when you go to do business with other people and you get in a partnership with someone else and they are registered with the state and you're not, and something goes wrong, guess who is liable for the mistake? The person who's registered with the state, because they are considered a legal entity. So I highly recommend for you to get your business registered with the state, even though you were self-employed and it was a side hustle. If you don't know how to do that, there are resources that I will share with Miss Tina in her upcoming ebook, Business Credit 101, for you can get some free resources to help you figure out how to register your organization and do it legit. Because people who flogging that they have an LLC and actually does not have it, it's public record. So anybody can look it up to see if you're a legitimate business. So you want to do business according to the scripture, above board. And that's me and being honest. Because when it comes times to file your taxes and you don't have your stuff together, like Tina said about those special schedules, which is called K1s. If you haven't heard of it, that's what they're called. That has to be submitted to for your taxes, which is separate from your personal. Even your bank account, your personal bank account needs to be separate from your business account. You can't mix the funds because it's a conflict of interest for you as a person and as a business owner, because it's hard for you to determine what revenue you made for the business versus what your personal income you made from still working on a 9-to-5. So I'm gonna help Miss Tina out, because she's right. She's not a CPA or accountant, but with my history of working with organizations and helping them with budgets and being a fiscal analyst and helping them establish themselves, I have seen everything up under the sun. You must register your business. There is no ands, ifs, or buts around it. So please stop crying and saying they won't give me government contracts, because you know why you won't get the contracts? Because you are not legally registered as an entity in your state. That's why you're not getting the contracts. So with that being said, Miss Tina, I'm gonna pitch the ball back to you.
And there are times that you can establish your corporation out of state. It just depends on what it is that you do. Sometimes there are advantages with establishing it out of state. Sometimes may be established in Delaware, Nevada, or something like that. But they do that. It's because of special tax reasons that they do that. So some states give better tax advantages to corporations than other states. And again, it really depends on what your business is. So that's why we say, talk it over with somebody before you just start going and doing stuff and spending money, because you don't want to spend money unnecessarily, and you definitely don't want to spend the money in the wrong place. So talk to people.
That's true.
Now, business credit trade lines. There are two. There are financial trade lines and there are vendor trade lines, right? So your financial trade lines are those that are coming through a banking institution or a financing institution. That's usually like your commercial credit cards, equipment lease agreements, finance and lease, leasing, if you're leasing office space or anything like that. So that will fall up under the financial trade lines. And then your vendor trade lines are your merchant and supplier accounts. Now, with those merchant and supplier accounts, you have to be very careful. It's not like your typical consumer accounts, right? With commercial vendor accounts or merchant suppliers, whatever. When I say vendor, I'm referring to either or interchangeably. They have what's called how you pay is on the net, and they will let you know that before you even open and establish your account with them. but some have net 15, meaning once you have received your goods or have been invoiced, your invoice is due. The payment is due 15 days after that. Okay, after receipt. They might have a net 30. That means it's due 30 days after receipt of the invoice and your goods. Or some even have like net 45, net 60s, 45 days, 60 days. You have to pay attention to that. I'm going to explain to you why. It's very, very, very important. Okay. You pay your invoices within the time frames of the delivery of goods, right? So the bureaus that report for your businesses, there's several of them, but the primary ones is Dun and Bradstreet, which issues out your paydex. Okay. And they paydex just literally they base it on your payment history. Then you have Experian, Equifax as well. And then there are some, if you have bigger corporations and things of that nature, then they have other ones out there. It's like maybe about 10 to 16, something like that. But for a lot of us, we deal with the small businesses. We deal with our mom and pops or those that are, have the small corporations or the LLCs. Dun and Bradstreet Paydex, you want to pay attention to that. They have a scoring range. Now, remember with your consumer FICO scores, it ranges anywhere from 300 to 850. Sometimes it goes up to 9 or a little bit over 900, right?
Right.
And some of the business credit bureaus operate like that too. They might have payment score ranges that range between 500 and 800. Those are ones that's for the bigger corporations a lot of time, but for us, with Dun and Bradstreet, Equifax, and Experian, their scores range anywhere from 0 to 100. 0 to 100. So it's not the 300 to 900, 0 to 100. The lower your score is, the higher of a risk you see. The higher the score, the more lower of a risk you are. So, an example. Remember how I talked about the net 15, the net 30, and then all of that? Okay. So, if you pay your invoices 30 days before they're due, now I know you said that, so that would 30 days before they're due, then you get a payment score of 100. 20 days before that bill date is due or that invoice is due, it goes to 90. It's your score. 80 means that you are paying it on the actual due date itself. Usually a good range or a minimum score for anything that's on Dun and Bradstreet that's considered good is 75 or to 100. In that, if you're in that range, then you're considered pretty good. And a lot of times the companies don't mind extending you credit because if you're between that range, that means that you're paying good. You're paying very well. So remember, you get a score of 80 with Dun and Bradstreet on the paydex if you pay it on time, on the due date. If you pay 15 days after the due date, your score starts dropping. So 70, 22 days after, 60, 30 days after, 50, and it just goes down and down to where if you're between 1 and 19, then that means you're 120 days after it was due. You are a very high risk and you're really horribly impacting your business credit. And business credit is the same. It's like the better it is, you get better offers extended to you. If you have credit cards, business, commercial account credit cards, again, if you want the limits to be raised on there, you have to be diligent in paying on time. So here's the ticket. With your personal credit, You want to be pay on time because you get advantages, perks, bonuses, all kind of good stuff. And you want to definitely do it with your business credit. And sometimes if you're just starting out, sometimes because you have no business credit, they will look at your personal credit, and it will impact whether or not they extend business credit to you. So just like with personal credit, consumer credit, you can go and do secured accounts, credit cards, just like you could do unsecured credit cards. Unsecured means you don't have to put any money. They trust in you that you're going to pay it on time each month and you're not going to go over and whatever. With business credit, it's the same way. They want to extend it to you, but if you're new, they will look at your personal credit history, because remember, Experian and Equifax are also have business credit lines. So they already kind of can look at it, right? And sometimes if you're just starting out, sometimes if you're able to, meaning if you do have great personal credit, you want to kind of secure your business line with your personal, just so that you can get off your feet and start getting that credit extended to you. Now, Experian, they score between 1 to 100 on the business credit as well. With theirs, 76 to 100 is considered a low, meaning that's great for you. Okay? Low. That means you pay timely, on time, each and every time. 51 to 75 is low to medium. On the low is good. Medium is kind of like average. 26 to 50 is medium. That's average. That's like, it's not so great. 11 to 25 is medium to high. And anything that's 1 to 10 is considered high. You are high risk. Those are your risk levels. Okay. So you want to pay attention to that when you're going out there and you're establishing these merchant accounts, these supplier accounts. You want to pay attention to the net. When is it due? And if you can establish it with accounts that have 30 or 45 days, then that's better for you, because it gives you more time. And then just depending on what type of business you're in too. If you're in a business where you're dealing with goods and services, goods is usually exchange, payment in exchange, right? I get my hair done, you pay me right then and there. You may have one where I can extend you, I'm sending you these clothes, like say if you're a vendor, like your business is a clothing store, and you want to have someone that maybe you're doing business with on the other side, that you sending something, like say maybe you have a couple of consignment stores that you're sending your products to, that they're handling your merchandise besides your primary store. A lot of times you're doing business with that. Then you still, even though they have it over there and they might not have sold your product, your vendor still wants to be paid on it, because they've already extended you the supplies, they've already extended you the merchandise, and they want to, have that. Sometimes when you are new and you're establishing with vendors or merchants, they might have you, for your first couple of orders, pay those orders in full on your own. And then after that, they may extend you the courtesy of extending credit to you. So again, you just have to do your due diligence, and you have to pay attention to this. And all of this will be outlined in the ebook that Teresa mentioned, that we are putting together, collaborating on Business Credit 101. And it will have different easy credit approval trade lines that you can apply for, that are easier to get over others. When we put that in there, we'll let you know what those particular trade lines are. We will give you their email addresses, and it will also have in there what their net are, what they have, if it's a net 30, if it's a net 15. Some may extend both of them. They even have a net 7 out with one or two of them. But we're going to give you the easiest ones for you to get approved for, so that you can then start establishing credit and show yourself worthy. And they range anywhere from gasoline credit cards to computer software companies to just supply companies, Home Depots and things like that. So we will do that. Now there is another one that's called a PayNet Master Score, and again, those are like the larger bureaus. Those are the ones that tend to deal with the scores of 500 to 800, meaning that if it's low in the 500s, you're high risk. The closer to the 800, the 7 and 800, you're considered a low risk. And those are usually ones that deal with like lenders or leasing. So if you're leasing, financial leasing, so properties and things of that nature, or banks, lending out to, the larger companies, usually those are probably going towards corporations and so forth. And then if you have, and this is just a tip, a cherry, sometimes you can do, there's a company called NAV. And what it is it's not, they don't extend credit to you. What they do is they kind of boost your credit for you. So, and they report to all three of the credit bureaus, Dun & Bradstreet, the Paydex, as well as Experian, as well as Equifax. They report to all three of those on your behalf monthly until you're able to really get out there and really get some true trade lines for yourself. And of course, they charge a fee for monthly. Some of the trade lines that we're going to give you for easy credit, for easy approval, some of them can tell whether it's you're using a credit boost service or not. Some of them don't care, but some of them can tell. Some of them you can't use it, and all that will be outlined in that ebook that we put together. But it can be done. And again, no matter who gives you credit, you just want to be a good steward. Because once you're a good steward and you show good stewardship over the credit or things that you have, then God will definitely bless you with more, So
that's good to know, Tina. I really enjoyed the resources of, especially about NAB, because I didn't even think that there was a platform for businesses to get their credit boosted. And I think that's amazing. It's very unique how the credit score scale differs from the personal credit score scale, which I knew that they had a score scale range, and I used to see the Dun & Bradstreet numbers like the 90s, the 80s. I'm like, well, why they got 2-digit numbers instead of 3-digit numbers like our personal credit score? So that was very informative to know. But it was something else I wanted to also add on to what you're saying about the business credit, is making sure that you have the necessary business disruption insurance. So if something happens like what we went through in the pandemic, and you still need to pay staff and pay those creditors that you're just talking about, that insurance will give you that cushion, that safety net, so you can maintain your credibility as a business owner with your creditors.
Yeah.
Because if you have to buy more equipment, invest in technology, hire more staff that's more technology savvy, you need to have those insurances for your business in place so you can be able to have the revenue to do that if you don't have enough because of a business disruption. Yeah. And then the other thing I wanted to mention too is to make sure that, with your collections for folk that owe you money, not to ignore it and let it sit aside and let your account payables build up. You need to have someone, if you have to hire a collection attorney to go after those individuals on your behalf to collect what is owed to you, and make sure everything is in writing and have the invoices everything, like Tina was saying earlier with the personal credit. You got to document everything. You have record keeper everything. That also applies in business, because you can't go to court and tell the judge, but he said, but she said, and the judge is going to ask you, well, where's the proof? Where's the evidence? Where's the contract? Where's the agreement? Where's the receipt? Where's the invoice? If you don't have those things, then you can't petition and fight to get money for something you don't have no proof that the person owes you.
Yes. I'm glad you said that.
So I just wanted to drop that nugget.
No, I'm glad you said that. I was going to actually mention that, like, just like with your personal credit, you have to be on top of your business credit more so than anything, because again, your name is your credit worthiness, and it's in business as well as in your person. And if you're not conditioned in your personal life, I would suggest before you even open up a business to get that on handle first, because business is going to be more it's going to be more strenuous than just your personal life, right?
Yeah.
That's your business. So that's what's bringing you bread and butter. That's what's putting food on your table. And you just have to be on top of it. But good practice follows you. So if you good practice in your personal, then you will definitely should be good practice in your business as well. But it makes it, yeah, you're right. It follows you. It follows you. The lawsuits are worse when it's a business. It's not just a judgment against you personally, which you can kind of explain that away with illnesses or you having to pivot in life and things happen. People get divorced and their credit goes down, tumbling down and things like that. But in a business, I mean, again, things happen with the economy that can, natural disasters that can happen that will affect you, but you still have to be on top of it. And again, the same applies. If you fall into or you see that it's going to be problems or issues, call the people, call your creditors, call them. A simple phone call will make a world of difference. Let me tell you, I during the pandemic, I happened to be fortunate to working with a law firm part-time. And when people were unable to pay their invoices and their bills, they contacted the people at the firm. And because if certain people had very good credit history with the firm, the firm knew that the people paid their bills all the time, so they were able to work out arrangements with those particular customers and clients because of the track record that they had before the pandemic set in. So again, your reputation really precedes you, and you really need to take it serious. If business is serious, and if you're going to dive into it, you have to do it the right way. Try to do it the right way the first time coming out the gate, so that one, it's saving you time, it's saving you money, and it's saving you headaches in the long run.
That is so true, and that's very good advice, but I'm going to take it a step further. The entrepreneurship, business ownership is not for the weak. If you cannot do business in your feelings and your emotions, you will not make it. You will lose it and go cuckoo. So I know this is my passion and I love to do this, but if you is very sensitive in emotions and you expect that everybody is your customer, sweetheart, young man, you in for a rude awakening. It is not the case, especially during the pandemic. A lot of people, ideal customers, they pivoted, they shifted, and businesses couldn't find them. So that means businesses had to relearn, reinvent, upskill, train, hire, really learn how to engage more on social media to find and locate their ideal customer, or either introduce themselves to new ones. So if you are the person that is so sensitive and have this kumbaya spirit, I love you for having that. But baby, it is not gonna work in entrepreneurship. I'm just gonna tell you, I am 7 years in, Lord. I know Tina probably been in it longer than me.
Yeah.
And I was a late bloomer because I put family first. I wanted to start my entrepreneur journey early, but I put family first, made sure our children were straight and independent. So I knew when I got into entrepreneurship, I was going to have to be all in. And you have to be all in. So you got to get some mental toughness. So you can't come in here with your feelings and your emotions and think you could come to the table and cry. And the people going to change their mind and say, yes, it don't work that way. So Tina was giving you the nice version. I'm giving you the cutthroat one.
But they don't know me yet. They don't know me yet. But let me also say this. When you are going to these financial institutions trying to get business loans, business credit, they expect to see a business plan from you. So don't go in thinking, oh, I got this great idea. This is popping right now. And hair, nails, blah, blah, whatever. They don't care. They care about seeing the financial plan in place. They want to know, have you researched this? Have you done your due diligence, your proper due diligence? They want to see that you have a 1 year and a 5 year plan. You don't need a 10-year and all of that. 1 year and 5 year, because a lot changes, as we can see, within a year's time, right? But you have to have your financial plan together. And you don't need a big old thick 3-ring binder book. I mean, back in the day, because you got all these slides and you did your research, so you just overloaded them with information. It doesn't take all that. You want something simple. You can have a 1-page business plan.
Yep.
It doesn't take it, I would say, if you can, depending, again, it just depends on the industry that you're going in. But if you can keep it 3 pages or less, that benefits you, because they don't want to do all that reading. I mean, you might have put the cute pictures and all of that stuff. They don't want to see all of that. That doesn't matter to them. They're not going in business with you. You just trying to get money from them to enhance your business. You put those kind of perspectives and things together for when you're looking for business partners or business ventures. That's when all of that matters, because you got to sell them on that. But with a bank, a lender, anybody that you're trying to receive, business credit from, keep it simple. Simple is best. 1 year plan. They want to see, your budget. They want to see in your budget, you have to make sure that you have everything structured out. We will put together, that will be a different ebook, but it will business 101, and it's how to put that together.
Well, it's amazing you said that, because I have a ebook already. It's called a financial profile. In other words, it's a 1-page financial profile that you can use to take to your bank to see if you're ready to even borrow from them. Okay. And it has some of the things that in components that they look for, because their main thing is they want to know how you make money and how you get customers.
And how you going to get paid.
Exactly. Because they need to know them 3 things, because how they need to know if you credit worthiness enough to pay back the loan that you're asking them for to help you do what you're trying to do. But in any given situation, even with the financial profile and the 1-page business plan, which I have a template for that too, that I'm revamping and upscaling since the pandemic, you also need to be able to pilot your business idea first. You need to, if you're on social media, do a poll or survey to see if it's a need for your product and service before you start investing in a boatload of money. Because if there's no need for it, you won't have no customers, and you have invested all this money into launch this business, and now no one is buying from you. No one is interested in what you have to offer. So you have to do a pilot study, or what they call it, minimum viable product. You need to pilot it. You need to figure out, You need to have a focus group. You need to see, would this something you would buy? Could you use this? If not you, who? That helps you craft who your ideal customer is, which that's a whole nother segment.
That's a whole
platform that I have to even take you through the customer journey to actually figure out what your customer want, what they need, how to find the analytics to make sure where your customers are so you know who to market to. But Business Credit 101 is very serious because that keeps your business funded, as well as marketing and sales, which you have to do all the time. You just can't do it one time and get some clients and stop marketing and selling. You got to keep marketing and selling so the money train can keep rolling. If you stop, then the money train stop, then the bills don't get paid, and then the credit score go down. Not just for the business, but personal. But there are some ebooks that me and Tina gonna collaborate on together, and there's some that I'm rolling out under my Emergent Entrepreneur Education platform, so you can have all the tools necessary to get it together. We still got time in this year for you to do it. So make sure you're using your time wisely during the holidays and not just splurging on temporary needs, but working on permanent futuristic solutions. We have a new variant now. We may wind up going on lockdown if everybody don't participate. So my question is, ladies and gentlemen that's listening, business owners and individuals, will you be ready if we go back in lockdown? So Tina, I want to thank you so much for this insight, for the Business 101 tip. I can't wait to see this ebook and all those boatload of resources. If you have not heard, if you have not seen, you need to make sure you listen to the entire series for the month of December, because it's one you gonna remember. I promise you, you will, because she gives so much insight. We thank our commercial sponsors that came throughout this episode that's bringing valuable information, and this is not all that Tina Nova does. So Jazz, you are just in for a treat. So Tina, since we're talking about business credit, any last call to actions? What's the first step that these individuals or inspiring business owners need to do first, besides buy your ebook?
To be honest with you, the first thing you need to really do is sit down and everything that you have in your head, put it on paper. It makes sense in your head, but put it on paper, because once you, and just spill it out. Don't put it in any particular order. Just get it all out. Write it down on paper, and then from there you can figure out an outline to put it together. But you got to get it out your head, because like Miss Teresa said, you just have to see if it's even viable for you to do. You see everybody else out here. Are you trying to go into a market that's already heavily saturated? And yeah, I know the memes go around and they got the little, what's them little things where they talking about, okay, sis, the market might be saturated, but what's for you is for you. So you not out there. So ain't nobody doing it the way you doing it. No, it's not. But think about it like this. Yeah, there's a McDonald's, and you get McDonald's in competition with all these other restaurants, right? However, you not McDonald's. Okay, that's right. Number one. You're not McDonald's. Number one. Number two, if one market is so saturated, figure out, or go online and you can Google this, figure out where the cracks are within that.
Where the problems
are. Where the cracks are. Yep. And then you create your business to fill that need. Because here's the thing. Even though the market is saturated on the top with that level, because you coming in filling in a need for something that's falling through the cracks for them, then that puts you on top of your own game in your own market. So there goes a slew of people right there that could probably be your customer base right there. So think about, don't try to go with what everybody else is doing. Try to go in a different direction, or stay in the same direction, but come in on a different level, that no one's addressing. And those are usually the people that really, really soar in business. And those are the people that really become multimillionaires and known at a faster rate, at a faster pace than people that are already out there for something that's doing what everybody else is doing. Everybody's creating lipsticks, lip glosses, hair tonics, and this and that. Find a different need, find a different niche, or if you're doing that, find a different market that it can serve and purpose that it's not serving and purpose.
That's good, Miss Tina. That's good. Other words, in a nutshell, I piggyback on everything you said. Find the problems that are not getting solved.
Yeah.
The ones that's not getting solved. And that's where you will soar. But now I'm going to tell you, with that bum rush that she's talking about, you got to make sure you got scalability and automation tools in place so you can keep up with the demand. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, that means you need to be registered into my entrepreneur education classes so you can learn, so you can find out what are the latest tools to help business owners be able to master and stay relevant even in the midst of a crisis and a disruption. Well, you have heard it today. Yes. Because everybody is not tech savvy. It takes time to learn. But I go in, I test a lot of stuff. I try to find the most simplistic tools to share with people that's really easy for them to catch on. And business owners, I know we love to do everything on our cell phone. I got to put this nugget on him. I know we love to do everything on our cell phone. But I need each of you to invest this Christmas to get you a laptop or an iPad. Because certain things you cannot do on your mobile phone that you need a computer for. So please invest in your technology infrastructure. And yes, you can write it off on your business taxes because that's a business expense, as well as your internet, your utilities if you're working from home. See, that's why you got to get in my class. And then I can tell you how to write off all that stuff working from home and remotely, because you can get all that stuff, get credit for that on your taxes as business expenses. But please stop doing business on your cell phone, because you can't do everything on that cell phone. I know we love to, but get your laptop. So Tina, Noble, last word for Business 101 for our listeners and our viewers, and we're going to keep this conversation rolling.
This is the last word. It is going to touch on what you just said. Depending on what type of business you're in, because I've been working in law firms for a long time. If you're dealing with people, clients, customer, their private information and things like that, you cannot be, legally, you shouldn't be dealing with that over the phone anyway, on your phone. You need to, like Teresa said, you need to have a desktop or a laptop, and you need to have the proper firewalls in store and security measures in store. So that's something else that you need to think about as you think about whatever business that you want to create, because there can be legal ramifications that can fall out from that as well. So that's my last word.
Yeah, that's
why we could go all night.
Yes, we can, because entrepreneurship ain't for the weak, and that's why you have to work on your business every day. Yeah. So Tina gave you a call to action. You need to brain dump, get all your ideas out your head, put it on paper to see if it makes sense for you to do what you're thinking about doing. My call to action for you is to make sure that you are staying relevant with and true to who you are, and not try to duplicate what someone else is doing, because you don't know what resources they have and what they're using to magnify or amplify what they're doing. You stay in your lane, you do what you do, and make sure you're relevant. And even with that privacy issue that Tina is talking about, you have to protect those people's data, because if not, they could come after you and sue you. You know how a lot of people identity getting hacked from these different companies. You don't want to be on the news because somebody done hacked you or ransom your security. So again, I have all experts on my platform, on ViewStuff, on YouTube, on my podcast, who go into these things that we need as entrepreneurs. And this is why I push on entrepreneur education, because Tina and myself have heard stories. We have had experienced clients who have had nightmares that have went through this stuff because they was not prepared for the disruption, for the loss that literally destroyed their business and took them completely out. So it's best to be proactive than reactive. So Tina Noble, I thank you so much. I can't wait to get those ebooks so we can put them out and let people start doing their homework during Christmas, educating their family. This needs to be a kitchen table conversation this holiday season about your credit, your personal credit, your business credit, and what 2022 and beyond it's going to look like for you and your family. So thank you, Tina Noble, for your expertise, your valuable input, the series and episodes that we're planning on for the future to come. For my listeners, for my viewers, stop absorbing information and put some action on it. Get up, move, do something. This is your host, Teresa Gamble of Courageous Conversation, powered by CRPC Now Media. We are bringing it to you real and live. So we thank you so much for listening. And this is not the last of Tina Noble. So stay tuned.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Courageous Conversation with Teresa W. Gamble. Courageous Conversation is powered by Concierge Resource Professional Consultant. Would you like to be a guest and have your story, lesson, and best practice to be captured in an audio encyclopedia? We are currently reviewing applications for future guests to join us, and we're especially interested in creating spaces for long-standing or multi-generational Black-owned businesses. For more information and to be considered, please email info@crpcnow.com to request an application. Be not weary in well-doing. You shall reap if you faint not. Galatians 6:9.